All right, Shalom, Mike. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachai, Kodash. I'd like to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. I'd like to say Shalom to the elect that's teaching His word on true faith and sincerity. And today, I just want to tie this lesson. Come and see the works of the Lord. In this work, He's working in this time. The intents and purposes of Yahweh Shemel Shai is ultimately the results is the destruction of America. When everything, when the smoke clear and the dust settle, the results is America's going to be destroyed. That's the intents and purposes of Yahweh Shemel Shai. That's the work that He's going to do in this time, man. Because, people think about the works of the Lord. They'll think about the creation, from the trees to the birds, sea life, which that is part of the work of the Lord, but the works is on display with these scenarios, these events that happens on the earth. So I got an article from MSN, and it reads, Russia's chilling World War III warning to NATO. Shooting Russian planes will lead to war, Kremlin warns. So this is not a random event. World War III is the event that's going to cap off this system. That's what's going to cement the end of this age. And this is how the Lord, He wrote this in the script. This is how He chose for His place to be moved out of the way by the way of a violent manner. Matter of fact, because that's pretty much it. Point is what, that spirit of war, World War III, and it's lingering. It's not like this is going to somehow just slowly fade away and then peace talks coming. No, the World War III and the talks of it continually increasing from threats to weapon shipment to allies, this, and it's finna get more intense. So let's get some real quick. In the book of Revelation, going into that violent way this place is going to be overturned. Revelation 18 and verse 20, it reads, Rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for the Most High have avenged you on her. So that in itself show you this the work of the Lord. The Lord, in His glory, is going to be on display by the way of the deliverance as well as the destruction, man. It says, and a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast into the sea, saying, Thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all. So this is how this place was set to be taken. This is written in the script. That Babylon the Great was going to be taken out in a violent manner. And now we're seeing it. It's going to be World War III. And going back to the point, it's not random. This is the intents and purposes of Yahweh Shemel Shai. This is His work that's on display. Matter of fact, we go to the previous chapter, Revelation 17, and verse 16. It says, In the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. So ultimately, that whore is America. And you're going to have the allies of America to turn on her. And you can see where you can see these nations, you know, beginning to hate America, and you can see why they're going to be justified in, you know, teaming up and destroying this whore. You know, a big part of it is, you know, little hats, big nose little hats. And they're the ones that's going to contribute to World War III kicking off. Talk about how the least of the flock to draw them out. But ultimately, the allies of America is going to turn on her. It says, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. And that's concerning those thermonuclear missiles from India to Germany, Russia. Well, this Russia is not the ally of America, but you know the allies, of course, the allies of Russia. I mean, so like in Germany, Britain, but yeah, as well as the enemies of America is going to contribute to that burning. Russia, China, North Korea. So that's how she's going to be ate and burned. That's symbolic to those nations showing missiles over here. It says, for the Most High have put in their hearts to fulfill his will. See? This is his movie. This is his script. We shooting the final scene of this of the last chapter of Esau. And this big scene involves World War III and UFOs. That's why this movie is so bad. Everybody gonna see it, whether you want to or not. You know? It says, I'm gonna read it again. It says, for the Most High have put in their hearts to fulfill his will and to agree and give their kingdom to the beast until the word of the Most High shall be fulfilled. See? So this is his word. This according to his words. And the Lord has gave us insight to see it that way. Why do y'all buy smell shine? That's, you know, that understanding, it comes with comfort. So now we actually anticipate these events because we understand what comes next. So matter of fact, let's end off on this in the book of Psalms, chapter 66. I start at verse 3. It reads, say unto the Most High, how terrible art thou in thy works. See? The terrible works of Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai. And that's what the Lord is known. He's known by his terribleness. Egypt. When you think of Egypt, first thing you think of, the Lord sending forth those plagues. Sodom and Gomorrah. You think of the Lord bringing forth, you know, that brimstone. See, these certain things that bring up, you first thing you think of is the judgment, man. That's how Yahweh Shema Shai, he talks about how he's known for his judgment. So that was like that's one of his signature, you know, pieces. What he have done to Egypt. You know? It said, through the greatness of thy power shall thy enemies submit themselves unto thee. See? And that's the prophecies. That's how the Lord's going to make that happen. And that show you this is concerning this time right here, because this is the time when all these nations are going to be subdued after the destruction. It says, all the earth shall worship thee and shall sing unto thee. They shall sing to thy name, Salah. And that's the elect. And ultimately, it's going to lead to the earth, because they, you know, that's going to be the standard to worship Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai. But it begins with the elect. You know, those are the ones that singing to the name of the Lord. It says, come and see the works of the Most High. He is terrible in his doing toward the children of men. See? It said he is terrible in his doings. So that show you that's the work of the Most High, the terrible doings. So as I mentioned, Egypt, the flood, Sodom, Nineveh, and everything else in between. A tsunami that just hit Japan a few years back. That was the work of the Lord, man. And when you go into that word work, one of the definitions is performance. So this what you're seeing on display. The Lord is performing a beautiful work. It's the destruction of America. We seeing it playing out just like you sitting watching that elder going to it. It's vivid. You watching a painter paint a picture, and after each stroke, the picture become clearer and clearer. So as we see that this life through the testimony of Yahushua, we seeing the destruction of America becoming more and more reality, and it's getting closer and closer, man. You know, and it's ultimately this is the work of the Lord. The Lord is working, man. He's very active in the earth, and we seeing it. You know, it's on the intensifying. So yeah, I just hope it will edify. I like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahushai, Ba'asham, Rachai, Kudash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone. Shalom to the elect, the teaching word in all true faith and sincerity. Shalom.